Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Me Before You. The trailers for this film looked really promising to me. That, coupled with our two lead actors, I was actually pretty excited to see what Me Before You was all about, especially because it was based on a best-selling novel. But we know we can't put too much credence in best-selling novels turned into films because you've been burned by that one too many times. And in the end, Me Before You isn't necessarily a burn, it's just kind of a meh film. What really saves this movie from falling into terrible territory is our two leads. Emilia Clarke is wonderful in this movie. I think she really is charming. She is a joy to just be around, and her joy and energy in this movie are infectious. And I really just enjoyed her as the character. But Sam Claflin is also very fantastic. He brings such an understated, deep performance to what could have been a very limited, small, narrow role. So I really have to give kudos to Sam Claflin for digging in, finding the layers, finding the nuances, and finding the really deep meanings of his character and why his character turned out to be the way he is by the time we meet him here in the film. Charles Dance is in the film, but he's really given nothing to do, and the rest of the acting cast is just there. Most of our screen time is spent with this couple, and these two actors really bring the chemistry needed. And really, when you're in a romance film, that's the most important aspect. Do you believe the chemistry? Are you buying the relationship? Is this relationship developing organically in a way that's actually believable to the audience? And most of those boxes actually are checked here in Me Before You. The two lead actors create a wonderful chemistry. You completely believe their chemistry the entire time. The script is good and does help a little bit, but really the actors carry that load. I will say, though, that some of the circumstances are not believable. You're left wondering, how did we get from point A to point B? This middle ground doesn't really feel fleshed out enough. And there are some scenarios that leave our main characters looking pretty bad, especially Emilia Clarke. You're left kind of like, ooh, I don't know if I should be rooting for you with the way you handled this whole situation over here. It's pretty shady. But really, outside of the chemistry that our two leads have with each other, there's not really all that much to love about the film, unfortunately. I think the storyline overall is pretty pedestrian. It's a very wealthy family getting to do these extravagant things. But in a romance like this, I guess that's what you're looking for. I'm not sure, really. The script never gets cringeworthy, but it's never great either. The director doesn't get in the way of the film, which I guess isn't a negative, but it's not really a positive either. The main contention with this movie, I think, is the way that it handles disabilities. You have a character who is in a wheelchair. You have a character who has a physical disability. This is a community that is very often overlooked in films, and when people with physical disabilities are portrayed, often it's in comedies and it's for a laugh and it's at their expense, which is very unfortunate. Or, they're Professor Xavier. Yay, Professor X. But outside of that, really, this is an ignored community, not only by the film industry, but by America at large. When we're talking about diversity, when we're talking about representation, this is a group that's never brought into the fold. They're never mentioned in discussion. So when you have a property that has one of the leads in a romance, a real romance, not just a farce, that has a physical disability, you need to use that. You need to really showcase that person. Make them a great character for people to see and to break down stereotypes. And I think for a lot of it, they actually do that. They are involved in a romance. He is super charming. He is able to get the pretty girl. Granted, he is a very pretty man as well. But they do so much to build up a great character that in the end, to throw away all of that work is really, really disappointing. And the hashtag for this film is Live Boldly. And I think that the film doesn't capitalize on the fact that people with disabilities do live boldly. They can live boldly. They are living boldly every single day. They cast that to the side for this depressing storyline to begin with, and then what happens in the end really negates the part of the film where our main character does live boldly. So, spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the ending right here, right now, so come back to this part of the video once you've seen the film, or if you've already read the book and know how it ends, you can continue. So, if you're still here, here we go. I think this movie is very irresponsible with how it handles suicide and how that correlates with the disabled community. The fact that he can't get over his disability and decides to take his own life in the end, I think is just a horrible message. I know it's that way from the book, and I think shame on you to the book as well for depicting such a thing just to get a tear and just to have some sort of emotional, heart-ripping romance story. It's all just very, very irresponsible. So to have a hashtag that says live boldly and to show this wonderful romance and to build up this wonderful character that does just happen to have a disability, and then say that, you know, even love, even all of these people who care about him, all of this money, this privileged lifestyle that he leads with all of the medical advantages awarded to him, cannot get over the fact that he lost his ability to use his legs, and he still goes through and decides he wants to end his life. It's just a very, very irresponsible message. And I'm just disappointed with the filmmakers for sticking to that message. I would have rather you angered the fans of the book than to put this kind of film out there, if I'm being honest. And it would have been such a more impactful story to really delve into him wanting to commit suicide and him really not thinking it's his life anymore, and realizing his purpose within life and realizing that, you know what, I can live boldly, like your hashtag says, with this disability. It doesn't own me. It doesn't define me. I am still the same person, whether or not I have the use of my legs any longer. And instead, they went the cheap route. He couldn't get over it, and he decided to commit suicide. And the fact is, suicide is a real problem with people who are able-bodied, go through an accident or go through some sort of medical condition, come out with a disability. That is a huge cause of depression, and it correlates very, very heavily with suicide. And unfortunately, they just completely mishandled it. They completely misused it. And I say shame on you to the book and the movie for being so irresponsible in the messaging. So overall, if you're just looking for a romance film to see on the big screen, I say give this a matinee. It's worthy of that. It's well crafted enough. It beats out all of the Nicholas Sparks movies, save for The Notebook, as an actual film. So I think if you're just looking for a nice romantic film, it's worth a matinee. Otherwise, I think the quality is good enough that you'll enjoy it as a rental or if you catch it for free on TV. But again, irresponsible messaging really makes me hesitate recommending this movie all that much. So, that has been my review of Me Before You. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Me Before You? Have you read the book? And what is your favorite big screen romance drama? Let me know either in the comment section down below or hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your continued support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!